Hey YouTube, so I'm back again and I am here to do the frequently asked questions video. Okay, so I have all of them put here in my phone. However, if you've, not that you're gonna see that, okay. If I don't get to your question in this video, please be sure to comment below so that way I can address it in another video, a part 2 or something. I tried to go back through as many comments as possible and get them down, but so if I overlooked you, I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm so sorry. Okay, so let's get started. Question 1, how long have you had your locks? I have had my locks for 27 months, or 2 years and 3 months. I started them back in September of 2014, so it has been a little while. Okay, how many locks do you have? That's probably the most popular question I get all the time. I have 144 locks. You know, there wasn't really any rhyme or reason to that number. However, there was like a particular method I used and sizing and that kind of thing. So if you want to see a video on that, just comment below and I can talk to you a little bit more about how I tried to get my locks all relatively the same size. So, but yes, 144 locks, okay? Question 3, do you condition your locks? So that's a little bit more of a loaded question, just because I'm kind of in the process of changing that. Up until I'd say about a year I was, and then I kind of fell off a lot and I was just kind of doing hot oil treatments. And then for like the last 6 months of the second year, I really was not doing anything, which is terrible. Make sure you're doing some kind of deep conditioning or treatment or whatever. But then I'd say the last 4 months of something like that, basically like from a year and a half, like 18 months up until like 22 months, I wasn't doing much. But then from 22 months up to now, I have been like doing something a little different. So the answer is yes, I was. Am I going to continue to condition my locks? No. You know, I'll talk more about that in my product video I'm going to make. But I just, you know, I've been hearing a lot about buildup, and I saw a little bit in my roots. I think part of that was just my technique, but still I'm just like, I don't know. So I'm about to eliminate conditioning out of my routine unless it's like very liquidy or oily leave-in conditioners. But we'll talk more about that. Okay. 4, when did you color your locks? That was back at month 6. Yeah, I think 6. Month 6 was when I cut, I think, and month 7 was when I colored my hair. So I cut it and then colored it. And I didn't notice any unraveling or anything like that with either part of the process, because at 6 months, even though my hair didn't look like locks, it had already kind of started locking and I wasn't dealing with any issues like that. So how would you suggest thickening locks? I do get this question a lot, I guess because my hair is relatively thick. I don't really know if there is a way to thicken your locks other than by combining, just because the thickness of your locks is going to be based on the, like, I guess the thickness, the density, and the type of hair that you have. So I don't really know a way that you could thicken them other than, of course, to not only combine them but also eliminate your retwisting, either permanently or just as much, you know, maybe instead of every 2 to 3 weeks, going 4 to 6 weeks or 4 to 8 weeks, and that naturally thickens your roots, which I guess in turn could thicken your locks. Maybe avoid palm rolling and just let that poofy kind of nature take over the entire lock. Also, I think part of it may have to do with the way you start your locks too. I don't know if really comb coils versus freeform versus the 2-strand twist method, which is what I use, which would allow, or the braiding method, which one would allow you the most room for your hair to thicken. I'm thinking probably comb coil or twist, but don't quote me on that, okay? How often did you wash your hair during the start, and what did you use? So at the very, very beginning, which you can go back through my videos, I think I have like my kind of 1.5 week and 3 week lock update. I was washing my locks every 1.5 to like 2 or so weeks, just because my scalp was not about to be about that business of not washing. I cannot do it. I mean, unless it just happens, and even then my scalp is on like 100, not 100, 100. It is itchy, it is flaky, it is like not even trying to be about that life. So 1.5 to 2 weeks. And what did I use? I started out using the Mango and Lime products. I really was not a huge fan. The Tingle shampoo was okay, but it just didn't give me like that kind of dual threat that I needed, which was both like that cleansing power for the scalp and the moisture balance too. And I just didn't find that to work. I think then I switched to like a combination of the Suave clarifying plus another shampoo. I'll try to link those videos down below where I talk about those products I used back then, like at my month like 3, 4, 5 or whatever, 6. I'll have to look back at that, but but I've kind of switched products a lot, honestly, kind of going throughout. It was really hard for me to find a shampoo that works for me, but I think more of it came to just my scalp being out of balance with not being oiled properly and my personal body not drinking enough water. So, that's why in like, I think I have a video on like having dry locks or 10 reasons your locks are dry. One of the first things I said was making sure your water balance is in check, because if your body is not personally healthy, your skin, everything else, your scalp and your hair are not going to react the way they should be. So keep that in mind. But now I try to wash, or I'm going to be washing about every 3 weeks and trying to retwist shortly after. So hopefully that helps. What products do you use? Like I said, I'm doing that in a separate video, but for the basics, I use a shampoo, I use an oil combination, and I use like a styler, like a little styler. It's like a all natural gel, and sometimes I have been using Talia Waji's like the tight hold for retwisting, but I'll be making some changes, so I'll keep you posted. Okay. Do you maintain your locks, and if so, how? Yes, I do maintain my locks. I have actually never been to a salon. I started my locks, and I kind of just kept going that way through the beginning. Not saying that I'll never give it a try and go. It's just that when I started them, I didn't really have access to stylists. I was living in Germany at the time, and a lot of them weren't familiar, and I wasn't about to be having them charge me an extra $100 just because my hair is thick. So I've started them, and since I've been back in the States, I've maintained them. Just kind of been pretty convenient. So yeah. But basically how I do maintain them is I palm roll my hair. Okay. How long did it take to lock? So I'd say the locking process probably started around 3 months. I'd say that it was probably fully locked. Even now I kind of debate whether it's fully locked, but I can't really deny that it is. It's dense all the way throughout. But I'd say probably like between 8 and 12 months it was fully locked. But it didn't really start looking like locks till after a year. And now it's kind of at that point where it's just, it's locks. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. But as far as like tips for locking, that whole thing about avoiding water, I think that was taken out of context when it comes to like interfering with locking your hair. I think the things they want you to avoid are probably conditioner being used improperly early on, just because it can interfere with your hair locking, especially if it's like a detangling conditioner. I'm not telling you not to condition your hair if that's what your hair, if that's what your hair needs. But what I'm saying is, like, don't use a detangler on your hair and be combing it and expect your hair to lock. Another thing was I did not comb my hair. Some people comb the roots when they retwist. Nothing against that. I mean, maybe that works fine, but it kind of seems like it would defeat the purpose. But now, that's not necessarily true, because I know a lot of stylists do that. And that, I think if you want the smoother, more uniform locks, then you probably want to go that route. I don't do it. This is what my locks look like. You kind of make the choice for yourself, whatever you're comfortable with. But I would definitely, if you're going to be combing those roots, make sure you're actively retwisting or something. And as far as the water thing, I think water actually helps the process because water tangles natural hair. However, I think it's the manipulation that they're talking about that can occur too soon. So if you put comb coils in yesterday and a couple days from now you go ahead and wash your hair and you're scratching and you're moving and you don't have a really tightly coiled texture, you're more likely to unravel them and have it going the wrong way and that kind of thing. So that can interfere with the process. So But yeah, I mean, for me, I started mine with twists, so the process was basically almost like just like how I usually wear twists, except I left them in longer, and of course the actual retwisting. But other than that, simple process. So, okay. So yeah, those were, I think, 9 or 10 questions that you all asked me. So hopefully you got some good answers. Hopefully. You know, don't forget, I am not a licensed cosmetologist. I am not a professional or anything like that. But I have maintained my locks and as well as my natural hair for, well, a total of like 5.5 years now. So everything I'm telling you is from my own research, people I've talked to with natural hair or locks or actual stylist, or just from my personal experience, like what I've gotten from trying my hair. So, you know, take everything I say with a grain of salt. If it does not apply to you, that's totally fine, but I just wanted to give feedback to anybody else who's trying to navigate their journey. And if there's something I say that you don't agree with, feel free to post, you know, your perception, and heck, we all can learn something new every day. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching, and like I said, don't forget, you can like, comment, subscribe, and post further questions in the description box. All right, thank you so much. Bye. Wait, Bus, are you really not gonna say hey? Say hi, handsome. Handsome. Bus, Bus. Bus, McGruff. Don't do it. I swear he don't love me, y'all. He don't even love me. Bus. Handsome. Hi. Hi, Bubba. Oh, okay, okay. All right. Bye, guys.